I asked you guys on Instagram if you're planning on getting the brand new Master Ball Masterwork Research, and there were definitely a variety of answers from yes to no because of the costs and no because you have others, and some just don't know. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the Masterwork Research and if it's worth it for you, and hopefully you have an answer by the end of this video. We have had a total of 5 Master Balls in the past, 4 from a research, 1 from level 70, and now the new one, which is coming from a Masterwork Research. Now this research is not a free research, and it is $7.99 USD, or wherever your local currency is. What makes a Master Ball really special is that it's a guaranteed catch. So whatever Pokemon you plan to use it on, you are going to catch that no matter what. Some people use it on their favorite shiny, others on Galarian Birds, and sometimes people's kids will use it on a random Quaxly. And while it's such a cool ball and having one is really incredible, $7.99 is definitely a little bit expensive, and we have gotten it for free before in 3 other research, and you will get it for free once you hit level 70. First, let's talk about why you might want to get the Master Ball Research. The first is that you have never had a Master Ball before, so this would be your first one. I think if you've never had a Master Ball, it is definitely worth getting the ticket. Having a Master Ball is so valuable, and you really can use it on whatever you want, whether it's a legendary Hundo that you get and you get to that last ball, or it's a Shundo that you just want to have that like aesthetic flex on, or if you've been hunting Galarian Birds and you've never gotten one before, a Master Ball is going to help you get your goals done, and it's just a really fun tool to have depending on how you want to use it. Another reason you might want a Master Ball is that you've already used all of yours. So depending if you've been playing and hit level 70, you may have had 5 Master Balls, but you may have only ever had 3, 2, or 1. It just depends when you played, but you don't have any more currently. I always think at all times a player should always at least have 1 Master Ball. You never know in that instance when you're going to need one, especially if you see a Galarian Bird or if you see like a Shundo in the wild. There are so many reasons why you want to have one. So if you've used all of yours and you don't have one, that's another reason why to get it. Now, outside of these 2 reasons, there's a lot of use case scenarios, so we're going to cover that later in the video of different cases of why you would want to use your Master Ball. But really, for the essence of this video, those are the 2 main reasons of someone who definitely should get a Master Ball if you've never had one or if you don't have any in your stock right now. Because honestly, there's a lot more reasons why you probably shouldn't get the Master Ball. The first one, and this goes probably to a lot of players who have played ever since that first Master Ball came out, is that you just have a ton of them. I currently still have 4 Master Balls, and I've only ever used 1. I used my very first Master Ball basically right away when it came out because I got the Hundo Shadow Mewtwo, I got down to the last ball, and of course I used that Master Ball. With the price of $7.99 and already having so many Master Balls, I don't really feel like this is a ticket that's worth it. I'd rather put my money towards something else since I have so many. If I did only have a couple, maybe 1 or 2, I would maybe be tempted to, but having 4, I feel like that's plenty considering I've only ever used 1 and it's been a few years since I even used that first one. Now the second reason you might not want to get a Master Ball is the cost. It is $7.99 and that is a pretty pricey ticket for 1 singular item. Now I know we have silver bottle caps, golden bottle caps, lucky trinkets, and those are pretty expensive too, and they are singular use items. I just feel like a Master Ball, again, it's really, really expensive for 1 single ball versus like the Calisaur Global ticket is $9.99, and I think that might be a better worth ticket, especially if you're budget conscious. Another reason you might not want to get the Master Ball Research is that you just don't play enough. A Masterwork Research is really challenging to complete. It's going to take a lot of time. Now it doesn't expire, it just will take a lot of time, and if you don't play too much, it might be really honestly forever before you get this done. And if you're also not playing that much, are you really ever going to use the Master Ball? Now that could also be an argument for why you might want to get it if you don't play that much. Maybe you don't have the same resources as someone who plays all the time. So for you, when you see a Galarian Bird, it might be worth using it for. So maybe we can add that to maybe why you also might want to get the Master Ball if you don't play too much, because it is kind of a nice thing to have. Another reason too is based on your skill level. If you are a highly skilled player, a Master Ball might just not be needed. So in my instance, I got my Hundo Shadow Mewtwo when I was around level 40 in the original leveling up, and I just didn't know how to hit excellent throws on Shadow Pokemon. That was one of like the first Shadow raids we had ever done. So I just didn't have the skill to hit excellent throws on, and now I know how to circle lock, so hitting excellent throws on Shadow Legendaries is really easy, and I don't have many flee all the time. And we also have the Kyurem Adventure effects, which make catching Pokemon in raids so much easier. So as you increase in your skill level and learning how to make excellent throws, and as we have the Kyurem Adventure effects, does that make something like the Master Ball a little bit less valuable? It just depends. So for me, I would say yes. So it also depends on your skill level, where you are, but if you're highly skilled at playing this game, you might not need to spend the money on this. If you're a shiny collector, specifically shiny legendaries, the Master Ball also probably isn't worth it. Since shiny legendaries are a guaranteed catch, same for max battles, there's no need to use a Master Ball unless it is purely for aesthetics. And most people don't use a Master Ball on a wild shiny just because it could be any stats and it's usually not worth it. Typically you want to save your Master Ball for something like a Hundo legendary, a Shundo, something like that, or a Galarian Bird, but just a random shiny in the wild probably isn't worth it. But again, the shinies from raids are guaranteed catches, so why use such a valuable and expensive resource if you don't have to? Those are my reasons for why you should and shouldn't get the Master Ball, but now let's talk about some use cases, and this might help you also decide if you want to get it or not, because this might depend on how you play. One of the most classic use cases of the Master Ball is a Galarian Bird. Now, a lot of people will use their Master Balls on Galarian Birds. Cream and I have never used a Master Ball on a Galarian Bird. For example, Cream has caught 5 non-shiny Galarian Birds without a Master Ball. I have caught 2, and Cream even caught a shiny, obviously without the Master Ball. One of the biggest reasons that we will never use a Master Ball on a Galarian Bird is that we don't know what the stats are. Because it's in the wild, it could be anywhere from a Nundo to a Hundo. The odds of it being a Hundo are so slim, same of being a Nundo. So is it worth using a Master Ball on a mediocre 0-star Galarian Bird? Probably not, but now with the bottle cap, specifically a golden cap, it might be more worth it. But at the end of the day, if I'm gonna bottle cap a Galarian Bird, I probably wanna bottle cap a shiny Galarian Bird. And since the shinies aren't going to flee, I might as well just spend the time catching and again, save that $7.99. So I think you're gonna see a little bit of pattern that I feel like you can save the money if you're just a little bit patient and increase your skill level just a little bit, because some of these use cases, you definitely don't need the Master Ball. It's just kind of nice to have, I would say. I would say another classic use of a Master Ball is a Hundo legendary from raids, whether that's regular raids or shadow raids. If you ever get a Hundo legendary, you will know that CP ahead of time if you do your research and you get to that last ball, it might be worth using your Master Ball. Now, if you only have one and it's a Hundo, like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a Hundo that maybe someone doesn't really care about, maybe like Tapu Lele, I would be excited about that. But let's say you don't really care about Tapu Lele. Maybe you let that flee. If it's a Hundo for like Mewtwo, Rayquaza, Palkia, Dialga, you definitely want to use your Master Ball on those. So there's even probably a hierarchy of Hundo legendaries that you may or may not want to use this on, but I feel like that's another great case. And that's honestly the case that we use this for. So I used mine on my Hundo Shadow Mewtwo. I got down to my last ball, and again, that was really a skill issue for me where I didn't really know how to hit excellent throws on Shadow Pokemon, and Cream used his on a Hundo G-Max Venusaur. And the reason for this is he also got to the last ball, and this was when G-Max Pokemon were first debuted and their catch rate was insanely difficult. If you played that first weekend, you will know what I mean. They instantly changed it like the following weekend to be like, oh, it's easier to catch now. So it's kind of one of those like historical things that we had, that Cream had to use a Master Ball on a G-Max Venusaur, but it's a Hundo. The G-Maxes were brand new, so definitely a really good use case, and we both still have 4 more left for that scenario. We have ran across so many Hundo legendaries playing and streaming this game. Like I remember early in the morning in Madrid, Spain for Necrozma when that came out, Cream got the Hundo. It was literally the first raid. It was like 5 a.m. And I'm not saying that we don't have the skill, but 5 a.m. that is kind of difficult when you're streaming, you're barely waking up, you don't have coffee in yet, and you get the Hundo. I don't think Cream was at the last ball yet, but was very, very close and was willing to use the Master Ball because again, it's a Hundo Necrozma. Totally worth it. So having that Master Ball for like that Hundo legendary in the background is totally worth it, because there are times when you might get to the last ball, even if you're a highly skilled player, even if you're using Curum, it can happen to anyone. Now, another use case that I find very fun, but I personally haven't done this yet, is for aesthetics. What I mean by that is, let's say it is a calm day, you're playing with everyone, and it is your favorite Pokemon. We'll use Lechonk as example if we ever get a Lechonk calm day. So let's say it's Lechonk calm day, Cream calls out a Hundo Lechonk, and I click into it and it's shiny. I might Master Ball that now. Now, I wasn't ever going to do that before, but the reason why I'm a little bit more okay with it is because I have 4. I feel like when it's like your absolute favorite Pokemon and you do end up getting a Shundo, it kind of could be cool to use that on. So I don't know. I think it just depends on the type of player you are, but I do think using it aesthetically is a really cool thing. Or if you do end up getting like a Shundo from a raid, aesthetically as well, even though it's a guaranteed catch, it would be really cool to have that Shundo in a Master Ball. I ended up getting a Shundo Zacian during Go Fest Global this year, and now looking back, I probably should have caught it in a Master Ball because again, I have so many. I have 4 left. I could have bought another one to keep 4, but I don't know. That might be something I end up doing ever in the future. If I do ever get a Shundo from a legendary again, I think I will probably use a Master Ball. So that's another kind of case for it. Now, personally, one of my biggest issues with the Master Ball is that you just like can never see it from the Pokemon. Yes, when you make it your buddy, it like throws out the Master Ball. We got that new pose with Wild Area that like the ball changes depending on your buddy, but like my Hundo Shun and Mewtwo isn't always my buddy because it's already best buddy. I don't have it as my buddy very often, so that pose is a little useless. I don't make it my buddy, so I don't see that ball throw. And we did have that update where we had that update for like a week or so, where at the top it had like the Master Ball and the location that you caught it with. A lot of people hated that. I liked that update personally. I had no problem with it. It didn't really matter to me. And I thought that was a really cool thing, especially because those balls are so special. I wish the Master Ball was just a little bit more prominently featured, especially for it being so expensive. So I'm hoping that's something in the future that they fix. Maybe they could put it somewhere else. I don't know how they would do it, but I just wish that the Master Ball was just a little bit more prominently featured when you use it on a Pokemon rather than it just being all the way at the bottom and you kind of have to show someone that rather than it like being the first thing that they see. So I don't know, that's kind of one of my other biggest issues of the Master Balls, because it's such a premium item and expensive, you don't see anything. At least with like a bottle cap, when you appraise the Pokemon, you can see the little like weight bars on it. So that's at least a visual representation like, oh, I bottle cap this. But the Master Ball, where is that kind of representation other than at the very bottom? And since the Master Ball is a guaranteed catch, one of the coolest things is that you can really decide how you want to do it. If you want to do it on a random Pokemon that you get today, go ahead and do that because again, it's a game, it's how you want to play, and that's what makes this really cool is that you can use a Master Ball on however you want. There is no right or wrong way. Don't feel like you have to use it on a Galarian Bird. We never have. I feel like so many people do that, and I'm like, are you really ever going to use that Galarian Bird? I don't know. I just feel like if I'm not planning on using it, why use the Master Ball on it? So for me, the Master Ball has to be like really, really special, like a Hundo Shadow Legendary, a Shundo, my favorite Shundo, something like that. So I think really at the end of the day, you should decide how you want to use the Master Ball, whether it's like that just in case, or you're like the next Galarian Bird, I'm catching that thing. So it's really up to you. But of these few examples of how people use their Master Ball could also depend if you want to get the Master Ball. So if you love doing your daily and you just have never gotten a Galarian Bird and you really want one, maybe you should get the Master Ball then. If you don't care about the daily, you don't care about Galarian Birds, you have them already, maybe don't get the Master Ball. Then let's say you don't really raid too much or you don't really care about legendaries. There are some people out there who are just like, whatever, I don't care. Or some Team Harmony players who just don't raid, period. Is the Master Ball really worth it for players like that? Yes and no, right? Like I said, skill level, if you only raid a little bit and you happen to get a Hundo but you can't catch it, that would be horrible. I would be so upset personally. But at the same time, if you're not playing much and it's just not something you don't really raid too often, if you miss out on a Hundo here or there at the end of the day, it's also not that big of a deal. So maybe you get it for that reason, maybe you don't. And then if you are an aesthetic player, that could be a huge reason why you also would want to get the Master Ball. There are a lot of people that I have seen that use it for the aesthetic purposes, and I feel like I'm at that point where I kind of want to start doing that. So the next time I've made that decision on whatever that's going to be, I think I will. I really should have used it on that Shundo looking back, but maybe the next time I get one, or like I said, if there's a calm day and there's a Shundo in the wild, or like there was a Nundo that I got. Nundos are my favorites. I ended up getting the shiny Nundo blue Flabebe. I probably should have used it on that because like I said, Nundos are my favorite. I think that would have been really special. So like I said, there are cases like that where maybe you want to get a Master Ball and make that moment even more special. Or if you're traveling somewhere and you get something really cool and you want to remember that trip with a Master Ball caught Pokemon, go for it. I think that's a really fun use case of that. I wish though that we could use it on mythicals, because I typically catch my mythicals when we're traveling, and most of the time with mythicals, especially like the shiny mythicals, you can't choose the ball. Now, one thing that we were like, ooh, should we try this, is catch something before in a Master Ball and see if it gives us the Master Ball like as that option to catch, because I feel like that's how it works, is like whatever that last ball is like what the ball is for the mythical. So if you know how the mythicals work and if you can use a Master Ball, or if I'd have to use a Master Ball to Master Ball mythical, let me know, because we might get the ticket just to test this honestly now, because I do want to I feel like catching a shiny Diancie in a Master Ball would be really pretty. So I don't know, because I also bottle cap my mythical, so it would be like a Shundo at the end of the day. So I don't know, let me know in the comments though if you know anything about that, because I'm now interested in possibly maybe getting like a test Master Ball, so we'll see. Now, one thing I did forget to mention earlier was that with the Master Ball, you only have 30 days from the season start to decide if you want it, which is good and bad. It's good because you have time to think about it. I highly recommend anyone who's like on the fence to think about it before you buy it. You have 30 days, so you don't have to get it right away, and the research will not expire. It's a masterwork research, so it's just gonna go in your special research, so no reason to feel like you have to complete it, but you will have to claim it in 30 days if you want to actually get the Master Ball. So you have time, but also like if you wait too late, you might not be able to get it if you decide on like day 31 that you want it. But I'd love to know from you all, what are your examples of when you use a Master Ball, or when have you actually used a Master Ball? Or do you have anything that you add to this list, like why you should or shouldn't get a Master Ball? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and how you approach these big tickets for these premium items. And I'll see you guys in the next video.
We want to give a huge thank you to our incredible Patreon supporters. Your support means everything to us and helps make content like this possible.
You're helping us take things to the next level. We couldn't do this without you.